Hello again. It's me, Emmanuel Juxtaflows. Thanks for watching. You're about to watch how to draw a rose, or how to draw roses. I draw it very differently from everyone else because it's me drawing it. But anyway, for this first rose, I looked up a picture of a rose, which is not usually how I draw a rose because I learned a long time ago. And I realize now that I've developed my own style for drawing roses, which is why I found it very difficult to draw this rose from a still life picture. Nonetheless, I started on one end and came all the way around, with the foreground being first, and then eventually working into the inner ground, I guess, or between ground, not the background. See, I went from the background in as well. And that's because that's just how I do it sometimes. And there's that first rose. I think I added another petal. Yeah, no, I guess that was it. And this next one is going to be drawn from my memory based on the style that I developed when back in the day I first started drawing. So I draw what looks like almost like a cup or like a some kind of container, like a bowl, and then I draw the petal illusion basically, which is almost like a sheet of paper. Like if it was like if you're holding up a sheet of paper, it curves over. That's the illusion that you basically want to master with roses. And again, there's no wrong way to draw a rose. You can draw a spiral circle if you wanted to, and then color it red and call it a rose. It's a rose because you called it a rose. And so these roses are roses because that's what I've named them to be. Yeah. And so this next rose is going to be a rose from behind, which, I mean, no one ever sees a rose from behind, but like, it's like, why not? It's still a rose, right? Just because you don't see the beautiful, slick, cyclical, round, blooming front doesn't mean that it is not a rose. And it also doesn't mean that you don't that the back of the rose shouldn't be drawn. Yeah, it should be drawn just as much as the front. And so I started with the stem and leaf parts. So the stem and the what used to hold the rosebud, which is like the five, it's like five parts to it, which looks like a star, and then just the first set of petals, and there you go. Oh no, I think I added another petal. There you go. Yep, and that's the back of a rose. And for this final one, I ended up drawing a couple rosebuds and a rose. Keep in mind that a rose's stem is very thick and strong, and it can hold up a whole rose or set of roses. It comes from a bush, really. And so I don't know if you've ever seen a bush, but if you try and jump in a bush, you can't jump into it, really, like without it like cutting you up just by the stems, let alone the thorns. Not all bushes have thorns, but you know. So a bush is very sturdy. So as you can imagine, it must have felt weird drawing these stems with these big roses on them. Because in your head, in my head, it's just like, oh, well, shouldn't it be tipping over? Well, no, because the the actual density of the rose bush stem is very, I guess, dense. Yeah. And there you have it. How to draw roses, or a rose, or roses, Rosie, Rosie, roses, Rosie, roses by Juxtaflows. Bum ba da bum 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 ba da bum 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 dum ba da bum bum dum ba da bum bum ba bum 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 meow bum 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 bum. Thank you for watching my tutorial on how to draw a rose or roses. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you want to see more like it, make sure that you subscribe and hit the notifications bell so that you can know every time I upload one of these videos. Also, if you want to support me and my channel, feel free to be a subscriber on my Patreon at Juxtaflows. See ya later.